Last time you were on, my man, we produced our most disliked clip of all time on YouTube. It was titled, "Is Kyle Shanahan on the hot seat?" And now, fresh off a 6-year extension, how hot is that seat these days for Kyle Shanahan?
Scorching. Scorching hot. No, that's funny. I just want to say in my defense, I truly believe, well, it's been a while since we've talked.
I know.
I said that he was on the hot seat in 2018 when he had just lost to the Cardinals for the second time that season. Mm-hmm. He was on his way to a 4-12 season, and I truly believe they weren't going to fire him. But the hot seat means you're like one bad year away. And you could correct me on this, but I can't think of any head coaches off the top of my head who had 3 losing seasons to start their tenure anywhere and got a 4th season. Right. Maybe it would have been Kyle. Maybe it wouldn't have. But I think Kyle came into last season with an energy and a focus and a drive that was unmatched from any other coach in the league. And I only think you have a drive like that when you're on the hot seat, when you know you absolutely, not because I put him there, but when you know absolutely that you need to make the playoffs in year 3. And he handled that by like October, right? He was 8-0. That was no issue. So, I'd like to take a little credit for that 3-year extension.
Fired
Put
him
just
up,
the right amount of pressure on Kyle Shanahan.
Exactly, yes. You gave him that bulletin board material, and he used it to his full advantage there. Absolutely, yes. The fantasy fullback dive is at your service here. But I know you just previewed, and you don't have to give away the whole interview. It's a nice 50 minutes on your podcast. You talked about kind of the pros and cons of this extension. So without giving away maybe the whole episode, what are some of the major talking points that our listeners could look forward to if they tune into that episode?
Sure. Well, the pros from Kyle Shanahan's perspective is he just set his family up for life. I mean, If I were in his position, I would have done what he did. Good for him. And the pros for Jed York is we know his history. He's hired a lot of coaches, fired a lot of coaches, never extended one, and hired some real bad ones. Chip Kelly, Jim Tomsula, Mike Singletary. So at least Jed York knows that he is locked in to someone who is respected. That gives Jed York some, gravitas that he didn't have back when he was clinging to Chip Kelly. So at least the Niners have some standing. The cons would be that Kyle Shanahan has only been a head coach for 3 years. He hasn't won a Super Bowl. His overall record is under 500. He's 23-25. And while he's extremely creative and a respected offensive coach, just look at Sean McVay. That's what Sean McVay was a year ago. Sean McVay went to the Super Bowl, lost, was considered like the next great coach in the NFL, had one down season, just one. Didn't have a losing season. They were 9-7, missed the playoffs, and now nobody cares about McVay. People have totally written him off. Yesterday's news. And what I would say is caution to 49er fans and 49ers ownership is that Kyle Shanahan potentially is 1 year away from that as well. If he were to go 9-7 next year, he'd be in Sean McVay territory. And you'd be looking at a coach who was still under 500 in 4 years into his career. So he still has a lot to prove. He got paid based on a projection, and we'll see if the 49ers are right and are good in their ability to predict the future.